So here's a video that I really didn't want to do, but I'm going to, and it's called how to replace drums on a Toyota 4Runner. This is a 95 model. So here is the new drum brake, here is the old drum brake behind the wheel. So all you have to do in a nutshell is remove the wheel, remove the drum brake, clean whatever is needed to be cleaned, and install the new drum brake. Adjust the brake shoes if needed. So first of all, you have to get the tire up in the air so you can remove it off the axle. To do that, you have to get the jack under the axle just like that and have a stand to let it rest on. Let it down a little bit. And you really have to remove the jack all the way. Step number 2 is get lug nuts off and get the wheel off. This is a 21mm socket. So all the nuts are off, the wheel comes off. So here we have the drum brake that we are replacing. Sometimes they are easy to remove, sometimes they are rusted in place, and in that situation they are difficult to remove. So to remove the brake drum, you have two options. If it's easy, if it's the easy option, you just pull it off quite gently, rocking it left and right, and at some point it might start catching the brake shoes, but you keep wiggling it off and it comes off. If it's the situation number 2 and it's rusted on, you get 2 bolts like this. I think it's M8 size, and the drum has 2 threaded holes. So you basically put these bolts in the threaded holes. All the way until they bottom out, and you basically just start screwing these bolts in, and that allows you to release the drum off the axle. So I don't have to do this, but I'm just going to demonstrate this. Basically go one then the other one, like this. And you have to have enough of a thread natural on those bolts. There is a lot of brake dust inside, so kind of be careful because it's going to stain everything. So the next thing to do, once you get the drum off, is just clean everything using whatever you have. Just don't overdo it. You really don't want to grind the flange of the axle off and create dips. So all you have to do is just remove the build-up or surface rust that you have. So just clean everything up, and at that point you are more or less ready to install the new drum on. So the other thing about this is the brake shoes adjuster. So this adjuster arm that is attached to the cable, parking brake cable, drives or triggers this adjuster nut that sits inside of this bridge that crosses between the brake shoes. So if you're replacing the brake shoes, you kind of have to turn that nut all the way into the tube that is sitting against this forward shoe. If you're not replacing the shoes and your old brake drum is not really worn out, you really don't have to do a whole lot, but as a precaution I'm going to drive this nut in so that releases or closes the brake shoes in a little bit. So this is a left-hand thread, and in order to drive the shoes, brake shoes closer, you have to turn it in, which is counterclockwise. If you take a screwdriver and just turn this nut, really hard to see, just turn it in as far as you think it needs to go. So that's pretty much it about that adjuster. So if you have a chance to check the run out of the flange of the axle, that's a good thing. Just set up your dial indicator against the flange and give it the spin. If it runs out too much, that could be a problem. As far as the brakes go, that's, like I said, the shoes are in a good shape, so I don't think they need to be replaced or changed at this point. And the last thing to do is install your new brake drum. So you really have to make sure that the work surface is clean of oil and grease and such. So once that's ready, I would put a little bit of anti-seize on this slip. To make things easier to disassemble in the future, if future happens. I'm using this Liqui-Moly copper anti-seize, which I like better than, well, what's the other stuff, the gray, I forgot what it is called. So like I said, the last step is to just get the drum on. Don't forget about the adjuster. So in this case, the drum fits over nicely and easy. So I suppose I can manually adjust this a little bit. I'm just guessing at this point how far I have to go. Still an easy fit. So on this side, the passenger side, you kind of have to rotate the adjuster clockwise to spread the brake shoes apart. You really don't want to spread them apart too far, because you don't want the brake shoes to drag. All that is left to do is get your wheel on. I might actually use this as a handle. I'm going to use this thingy. Well, so that's pretty much it. There is nothing else really except to torque the lug nuts to the proper torque setting with the torque wrench, and that's it. I didn't have to replace the brake shoes, so that made things go much faster. So if you're replacing the drums only, that's a straightforward and easy job, and there isn't much to it really. So on a good day, I say you could do all this in about 30 minutes. So that is all that takes to replace the brake drums on a 95 Toyota 4Runner. Kaboom!